Grab a glass and get out here. We're drinking Michter's Barrel Proof Rye with.
Welcome to another Whiskey Rye Review. I'm John from Neat Takes 39.
Welcome to the channel, John.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mike.
Neat Takes 39. So, Michter's Barrel Proof Rye is actually a whiskey that I got just over a year ago. A year ago on my birthday. Yesterday was my birthday, so I'm celebrating.
Happy
Cheers.
birthday, brother.
And I was out hunting, stopped at a Sendik's here in Wisconsin, saw this on the shelf. It had been starting to drop in our area around that time in early May of that was 2025. Most places were selling it around 150. Sendik's had it for, I think it was 120, 125. So that was actually a little bit cheaper than what our local Total Wine was selling it for. They were selling it for about 130. So I figured, hey, if I can get it cheaper than Total Wine, I'm doing all right. It was my birthday. I was feeling good. I went after that. It was the last bottle they had on the shelf there. They probably only had a couple to begin with, since it is a harder to find release. John, you've had some Michters. What's your experience with Michter's whiskeys in general so
Usually,
far?
Michter's is pretty nice. They'll have the complexity, but not usually over the top where it like burns your palate or anything like that. They're usually first off, hard to find,
Yeah.
like you're saying, and then also too, when you get it, you kind of use it for special occasions.
Yeah, any of the limited releases are harder to find, but that's just the name of the game, unfortunately. Now, anyone who has been on WhiskeyTube for a while and seen Brewzle's content, this is Brewzle's TJ's favorite rye whiskey, or definitely one of his top favorites. There's a great video. He stops at a store. They had a couple cases, and I think he bought about a case and a half because they had it at a great price. It's his favorite. It's hard to find, and I was lucky enough to attend an event in Wisconsin at Ira's in Oak Creek, where TJ Brewzle stopped by, and there was an impromptu bottle share. I brought this bottle, actually got it signed by the man himself, so hopefully you can see that. And because of that, this is always going to be a special bottle to me. Of course, I have a selection, not a collection, so it was open. I poured TJ some. He and I enjoyed it there together in the parking lot. Really good time, great guy. I really appreciate everything he's done for the whiskey community at large. So getting into the details on this bottle, as you can see, the color, fantastic.
It's quite rich.
Yeah.
Like definitely more of that almost orangey, almost.
Yeah.
It's just a hint of
Yeah.
orange on it, which is impressive, especially for a rye.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
So this is the Michter's Barrel Proof Straight Rye. It is a single barrel. We've got the barrel number here, 25B0547, out of Kentucky. Their mash bill is unknown. It's undisclosed. It's actually undisclosed what distillery they're out of. This specific bottle is at 55.4% alcohol by volume, or a 110.8 proof. The age, it is non-age stated, so it's not the 10-year or anything. They only have a couple of the age stated releases, and those tend to trade at a value a little bit beyond what I typically spend, and they're even harder to find than these.
Almost like winning the lottery half the time.
Yeah, you kind of have to, especially you start getting into the 20 or the 25 that are literally thousands of dollars, worth more than my first couple of cars. So it's like that's for a different tax bracket. But we enjoy life's little luxuries like this bottle right here. There's no finish. While we don't know what the mash bill is, it's definitely more of a Kentucky style rye in that it has a high corn percentage. So it's probably between 50 and 60% rye, and then 30-ish% corn. And again, let's see, doing my math right, 10 to 20% barley probably closer to 10%. Great mash bill, especially for anyone just getting into ryes. Ready to get into it?
Oh, yes, sir. Thank you. Cheers.
Time for some tasting notes.
It's just so sweet.
It really is.
It's like candy.
But a spiced candy. So if any of you have had some of the classic Mexican candies with tamarind, it's like a spicy sweetness. It's not tamarind notes, but it's that same balance of sweet and spice, I would say. Very light, very bright.
Wow.
It's not like a caramel.
No.
It's much more of a like a light honey,
Very.
honey and citrus.
And then you get the rye. That's the dominant, and it should be.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like so overpowering. That's all you get. Like you're
Right.
saying, the honey citrus, and that's just that extra sweet spice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
There's some tea notes, like a herbal tea. I get on Kentucky or Maryland style ryes. Maryland is similar to a Kentucky style, but slightly higher rye. So you have your Kentucky style, which is like a barely legal rye. Then one step beyond that, your Maryland style. And then way beyond that, your classic 95.5, which is 95% rye, 5% malted barley, the rye of ryes. And on some of those really high rye bottles, I get a dill note. And I know that's a common note to get on ryes.
it truly is.
I get none of that here. Here it's herbal tea, chamomile and honey and a splash of lemon, and then also some caramel. And it's
Caramel at the end. Like
yes,
it fills the entire palate where it feels sweet after you get the whole package deal, and it's like, oh, you finish it off very smooth.
yeah. The mouthfeel is good. It's not the thickest viscosity, but it's still barrel proof at a low proof. And Michter's, they have a low barrel entry proof, so that's why you're getting a barrel proof product at 110 proof versus the majority of distilleries that use 125% or 125 proof barrel entry proof. Michter's is much closer to 110, 115. Um, so that gives it a very nice, rich flavor that I think sets it apart from a lot of other bourbons or whiskeys in general. This being a rye, it really gives you a different aspect, and it's more expensive, but it's worth the extra price you pay to have the lower barrel entry proof. It pays off.
But I think, like you're saying, the balance side of it, you have to think if it went too high, it wouldn't be as balanced as sweet as this is. So,
Mm-hmm.
well done on as far as Michter's making it right.
Yeah.
Very
Oh,
well
for
done.
sure.
Very well
A nice long finish.
done. Mm.
It's really enjoyable, and it's one. It's a relatively cool day today. Um, but this would not blow you away on a warmer day.
Oh no.
If you want a really nice, high quality pour over the summer, a
Mm.
low, lower proof or mid proof rye is a great way to go. Some of those barrel proof bourbons at 130 proof, it's going to be a little tough if it's really warm out.
And the
You know,
humidity on top of it.
it's going to be not as enjoyable. Bourbon for me is best in the spring, fall, especially the winter. But then summer, a nice Kentucky style rye, fantastic for the summer.
Yeah, this is definitely on the summer list.
That's great.
Mm.
Um, Now, I neglected to mention earlier, price wise, I know I talked a little bit about that, but to be more clear, um, the lowest you're going to find this, if you're really lucky, is going to be MSRP. This is not one that you're going to find on sale. Um, it's going to be 100 to 120 if you're lucky. You'll see it as high as 150-ish. It doesn't have a huge secondary value, so you're not going to see it much beyond that, because once you start getting beyond that, you're definitely getting into the like 10-year bourbon and rye territory once you hit 200 plus. And so people generally will switch over if they're looking to spend that much money on a Michter's product. I'm happy with the money I spent on it, $120 for this. Um, if once I run out of this, I will probably buy another.
The search is on.
It's not one
Is
that I have to have a backup on, and personally, just my drinking style, I don't do a lot of backups. That's quite rare for me.
fair.
But it is one that I'd want to replace. It's not one that you have to find every single barrel or anything like that. Um, they're consistently really good. If you're finding it in those low, low hundreds, around 120, it's a
Fair.
fair price.
That's fair.
I don't think
So
you're getting
nice.
ripped off.
No, this is so nice.
Yeah. So now I like going through why do you buy, why would you not buy? So for why you would buy this product, pretty obviously it's fantastic. It tastes great. Um, if you are into the Kentucky style rye or you're just starting to get into ryes, this is fantastic to have on a special occasion when you might be outside in warmer weather. It's going to shine. It's a great special occasion pour. It's approachable um, for anybody who's newer to whiskeys. They're not going to get blown away, but they're going to be able to recognize how high quality this is and really be able to enjoy the experience with you.
Agreed. Agreed.
Um, yeah, it's hard to find, but it is more findable than some of the other, really any of the other limited offerings from Michter's. It's easier to find than the barrel strength bourbon, the 10-year rye, the 10-year bourbon, 20, 25. That's a whole nother ballpark. In terms of why not to buy, it's just really the price is the biggest factor. Um, or if you do really need that higher oomph from something like a barrel proof rye from, let's say, Knob Creek, or even now the Sazerac Full Proof, that's going to have a lot more oomph with some similar flavors. So I can see why you might switch to that.
But I think the mouthfeel is a little bit different between the two.
Yes.
Where, like you're saying, summer wise, this is really really nice, and winter or fall,
Yeah.
it is compared to those.
Yeah. There's really nothing wrong with it. The only thing is if you're able to find it and willing to pay the price for it, which again around 120 bucks, I think it's worth it. A couple similar bottles. I think probably one of the closest comparable bottles might be the Pikesville Rye. So that's also 110 proof. It's not barrel proof, but that's out of Heaven Hill. Um, a mid to high proof rye. It's slightly higher rye content, likely. It's more of the Maryland style versus the Kentucky style. But you're in that same proof range. It's much cheaper and much more findable. So there is that to be said. In terms of other high proof limited offerings in the rye world, the one that jumps to mind is Thomas H. Handy. But at
Oh,
MSRP, that's
oh,
150-ish. But good luck when it gets to secondary. That gets real crazy. Um, there's not a lot of other ones that are jumping to mind that would be really in that same vein. On the cheaper side, really, even though the proof drops pretty significantly when you go to the Michter's straight rye, the lower proof single barrel, which is at about 43%, so a little under 90 proof. Still really good flavors, nowhere near as much oomph, but you're getting the same flavors, just not as much of it. I would say you'd be much better off trying to find one of the new Sazerac offerings, the 100 or 125 proof, in terms of a
125.
budget option.
Agreed.
Um, it would be fun to blend those two
It would. You know
to
what?
get to a similar proof.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so we might try that
I
later.
think we will.
So those are a couple other options you could consider. But all in all, It's a really good bottle.
I mean, what you said about the cheaper stuff is like you can do the bullet rise where it's at 95.5 and all that.
Sure. Yeah, if you
This
want more rye out of it, the 12-year bullet,
right. Though
that's going to be
that's gonna be it's gonna be decent, but I still think this one gives it that extra oomph as you're talking
yeah,
about, where it's like it's just a sweeter
it's
flavor.
definitely a more premium experience.
Yes,
But if you want those really high quality flavors, but more of the rye, the Bullet 12 would be a really good option.
if you can find it,
Um,
which that can be on and
yeah.
off depending.
Another option would be the Old Overholt
Oh,
12 year.
yes, it would.
That's going to be in the same vein. It's not as limited, but it doesn't come around as frequently. It's not as easy to find as some of the other alternatives I mentioned, but still easier to find than this one is.
Agreed.
So, yeah, but I enjoy this.
Yeah, agreed.
So, thank you so much for watching. Cheers and go touch grass.